However, I do still think that it is not a good time to begin to talk about increase in the salaries, because we all know that the salary, the basic salary, isn't the issue. And that's why we've often talked about transparency in terms of how much in allowance public office holders actually collect. Because if we don't actually know how much this amounts to, it is difficult for us to hold to account public office holders who are living way and far above the means of how much they're supposed to collect. And so it's difficult to judge who is corrupt and who is not corrupt. If you're driving a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce, for instance, as a public office holder, and your salary is at, say, 1 million naira, 1.5 million naira for the president, but you say that the other amount of money is made up through allowances, how are we supposed to judge that or to hold that to account as Nigerians? And so the salary is not the issue. And I do agree that in order to make it less attractive for corruption or for you to make, find other means to make money, let's increase their salary. But let us talk about the allowances. That is the big issue. The allowances are up to sometimes 10 times what the basic salary is. And so basic salary is nothing. It's money for the boys. It's money for spending just for fuel or something like that. Now, when we talk about fairness and equity, let us look at the common man. The current salary, the current minimum wage is at 70,000 naira. Convert that to the dollar rate, it goes for about $45 per month, is what a grown human being in Nigeria with sometimes a family takes home each month. That is basic. It's not a reflection. If you see, then there's no justification if you're not able to remunerate properly Nigerians who go out every day without an additional allowance, who go out every day and work, and then you're talking about increasing the salaries of public office holders. Beyond that, the second point is that when we talk about, for instance, the National Assembly, there are other ways to ensure that we're still able to keep the resources tight. There have been conversations around making these roles part-time and even looking at how much work is being done to justify the amount of money that they collect at the end of each month. We talk about recesses at any given point. How many times do they actually sit? How many of them go back to their constituencies to actually engage with the people who've elected them in? These are public office holders. The president himself, in terms of how much work is done to justify the amount of money for that position. These are the things that we should be talking about. When you earn a salary, there are KPIs to ensure that the amount of money that comes into your account at the end of the month is justified by the amount of work that you do. It is not a reward for being able to run a great election to get money at the end of the month. How much work is being done? So these are the broader conversations that Nigerians want to hear, beyond the fact that, just because it is time for us to increase salaries, we need to do it. I agree with that, but then also let us look at the metrics by which we measure this and see if the public office holders whom are being considered for a salary increase actually do the work. Let's review job specifications. Let's review working hours. Let's review how much money Nigeria can actually afford at this time. And let's review if it's fair in relation with what the common man or the man on the street earns. As it's been said, we are widening further the gap between the rich and the poor, and there's almost no middle class anymore. So when we make a justification and arguments for that, let's also look at what is available, the amount of work that's being done, and fairness in relation to what the NLC and Nigerian workers are asking for at this time.